Yes, my name's Dr. John McDougall. I'm a board-certified internist, and I've been working to help people change their diets for almost 4 decades now. But I'm a real doctor. I'm not an alternative medicine doctor. I'm not a holistic doctor. I'm just a regular doctor. And I had the good fortune of discovering how people are supposed to eat a long time ago. Happened actually even before I became an internist. Before I became an internist, I had a job of being a sugar plantation doctor on the Big Island of Hawaii. And in that experience, taking care of about 5,000 people, catching their babies, doing brain surgery in the middle of the night when necessary, what I discovered was that not everybody eats the same. Some people eat the rich American diet with lots of meat and butter and cheese. And then I met a whole group of people. These were the plantation workers who lived on starch. They lived on rice. These were my first, second, third, and fourth generation Filipino, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean patients. First generation meaning they began their life in Japan or China or the Philippines. And they learned to eat rice and vegetables. Then they moved to the Big Island and they started a new family. And there they were under other influences. So their kids started to eat less rice, more meat, more burgers. Then the grandkids, they became fully westernized, fully Americanized. So what I saw right in front of me as a sugar plantation doctor, I saw a switch in diet from starch, rice, a great starch, from rice and vegetables and no dairy, a little tiny bit of meat maybe sometimes, to a diet that became fully westernized. And I saw people that were strong and hardy and healthy and long-lived. They typically lived into their 80s and sometimes 90s, working hard. I saw these people transition to fat, sick people, just like I learned medicine on. And there I discovered the importance of eating a diet of mostly vegetables, but I call it a starch-based diet. So let me tell you a little bit about starch. Starch is crucial. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to eat better. They're trying to be vegetarians, vegans, and they're making all kinds of mistakes. And the biggest mistake is they don't understand and they still fear starch. Starch is energy. It's the energy that a plant stores in its body parts so that it can renew itself in the spring. So the plant grows in the summer and in the fall some, and it prepares for winter when most of the plant dies. In preparation for the next year, it takes some of that sugar that it's synthesized with the help of sunlight. And he puts that sugar in its parts, like in its underground parts. We call these underground storage organs. You may call them potatoes and roots and bulbs and corms. They're underground storage organs, and that's where it stores the starch. And then the next year, when the plant becomes anew, it sprouts. Now, other plants, they store it as seeds. Now, these seeds could be called grains or legumes, but they're high energy, lots and lots of sugar. And that sugar is used by the plant to germinate, become a new plant. Well, we as human beings, we tap into that energy source. We are starch eaters. We are starchitarians. We are starchivores. And until people understand that, they're lost. They want to be a vegetarian, they want to be a vegan, they want to get healthy, they want to save the world, they want to do whatever. They will fail until they understand the essential role of starch for the planet and for human beings. Just to give you an introduction as to the predominance of starch in the human diet, if you just stop and think about it, just think the world today. Well, it's changing fast, but we still have countries like China and Japan and Vietnam where they're big starch eaters. Still big potato eaters in Peru. In parts of rural Mexico, they're still big eaters of corn and beans. But just think back, just think in the past. Like, for example, the Aztecs and Mayans. They were known as the people of the corn. And if you think of Asians for, 100 years or 1,000 years ago, you think of rice eaters, or it could be people who ate sweet potatoes. And in the Andes in South America, big potato eaters, 400 different species of potatoes at least in the Andes. And today, you turn on the news, and what do you hear about? You hear about Syria, Egypt, and Iran, and Iraq. That is the breadbasket of the world. Starch, breads, and potatoes, and corn, and beans, that's been the predominant part of the diet through all of recordable human history. And there's a reason for it, and that's because that's the human diet. And people naturally like starch. You put out a big bowl of pasta, they go, oh, comfort food. Put out a slab of meat, cooked or uncooked, and they think about it twice. It's not their food. You take a baked potato and you throw it in front of your cat. Your cat goes, I don't know what to do with that. Throw out that same slab of meat, guess what? Cat's all over it. That's the cat's food. Potato is the food of human beings. Pasta, corn, breads. That's our food. That's why we're naturally inclined to it. That's where we get our energy. It also provides all the protein we need. And in most cases, all the vitamins we need and minerals. There are a couple little exceptions that are really easy to pick up if you include a little bit of fruit and vegetable matter.